There we go. We are live. I'm going to say it's 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Welcome to NasCanucks, presented by Vibraprint for all your custom printing needs and your NasCanucks merch. Visit Vibraprint. I don't know if we have a coupon code. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't have one.
Yeah, or just use the Canucks coupon code, and that'll work too. Just type in Canucks or NasCanucks. I don't know. Try either one. Anyways, welcome to the show. I'm Ben. This is Doug in his new and improved studio. Look at him there. He does not look at all like the Dirty Mo Posse. No.
Not at all. No, it's a new one. I thought,
Dirty Mo Media.
Yeah. For anyone who's watching, who does watch my other Cornhole podcast, I am in that studio here. I decided I was going to come here. There was going to be no one here tonight, so I decided to step out of the basement and whatever.
Well, and I am, of course, in the basement because, well, I have to self-isolate.
You have to be.
But maybe more on that later. We shall see. All right, we're showing zero people. We're showing zero people watching. We don't know if we're live or not. YouTube is a little right now, so not much we can do about it. So we'll carry on as usual because really, it doesn't faze us. So, championship weekend or whatever the hell. I think that's what they're calling it, isn't it? Championship weekend?
Yeah.
Finale? I don't know. It's the wild card, whatever. Just throw them all out on the table races that I could give a what to. But hey, we're going to crown some champions apparently. So starting out Friday night, we're in Phoenix, Arizona for what's it called? Gander Outdoors?
It's now no longer called that, but yes.
Yeah, well, for that race because the Gander Outdoors Truck Series, which is going to Camping World again or something?
Back with Camping World Truck Series, yeah.
Sure, why not? It's just as well, because there's guys like me that have probably been calling it that the whole time anyways.
Yeah.
So I think I still call it the Craftsman Truck Series on occasion. I never call it the NASCAR.
I've heard some people saying that as well, too.
Yeah. But, yeah, the Super Truck thing never really lasted. 1 year. 1 year. Anywho's. So, yeah, going in, who were the four drivers we had? We had Moffitt, we had Creed, we had...
Enfinger,
and
Zane Smith.
Zane Smith, right? The youngest gun, right?
Yeah. Which, you know what? I'm going to say right now that race on Friday night, and you know what? How many times have we said this? That was probably the best race of the weekend.
In so many ways, the on-track action, the broadcasting, hands down.
We'll get to that as well too.
Yep. Like I texted you, I said, as much as I slag Michael Waltrip, him and Kurt Busch together is a good combo. I don't know what it is. I don't mind it.
I love Kurt Busch in the booth.
Yeah, he really works well now that he speaks English. It's great. So,
it had action. It had people who weren't in the Final Four. We're up in the top four. We're pressing. Right. Stuart Friesen was pressing. Raphael Lessard was pressing. Ben Rhodes trying to just piss everyone off again, being up in the top four.
Yeah,
actually up in the top two even for a while too. So I think it had all the action. It had comers and goers and guys dropping to the back, guys going to the front.
And then you always have that pleasant surprise for guys like me that forgot they finally reconfigured the track and moved the start-finish line. So as soon as the green flag drops, 15 wide.
Yeah, and
guys are cutting across the end of pit road.
Yeah, and and we can say all that happened in the race, but I think when you get down to that final restart, I think that's what got Moffitt on that final restart.
Well, I think somebody lifted up his rear tires.
Well, yeah, still, but I think if they weren't able to cut that corner, I don't think any of those guys were going to pass them. If they had to stay on the track, they weren't going to get them that quick.
I was thinking too, I would love to see if they counterbank that. So it's like a -3 degrees of banking. But the problem is then you have drainage issues, although it is Phoenix, but
yeah, we have seen
they've needed drainage issues at Phoenix before.
Because that final one, if you watch Sheldon Creed, he stayed down there almost till he got on the backstretch.
Yeah.
Actually, no. That front stretch now?
No, it's the backstretch now. Yeah, out of old turn 4, which is now
turn 1. So would turn between 1 and 2, would that be the backstretch or would that be the front stretch?
No, I think 1 and 2 is the old 3 and 4 and then it's turn 3 and turn 4.
Well, because the start line is in between where 3 and 4. What this is just a dumb idea what they did. But anyway, I think between 3 and 4. Like, are we really arguing about this?
Well, see, the problem is the track started out as, like in New Hampshire, a combination road course where they kind of built an oval within a road course, which is what they did in New Hampshire. If you don't know your history, check it out. The road course was there long before the oval was. And remember, it used to be just a wall that with a cutout where you used to come back on the track in the mud. And then they kept cheating that wall out more and more because guys really found that last 18 inches of that wall. And that's bad because then you're doing 15 spins in about 0.3 seconds. And that's hard on the neck. And so, yeah. And then I don't.
Because they moved all the stands up into that turn. Because there's no stands back where.
You know what it is probably that's the only shaded spot during the race.
Yeah.
But the problem is now if you hang out at the other end up on the hill, on Rattlesnake Hill or whatever it's called, now you're like, what's going on? Like, because all pit road is behind everything.
Yep. Yeah. So. Yeah, so Sheldon Creed, winner in the camping world, well, the now Camping World Truck Series, the Gander Outdoors Truck Series, and he was a great winner. Like you can tell he likes to have fun.
Well, I believe, was it him they mentioned? Now, this is a guy that started off as a starting park in Arca.
Mm-hmm.
So what does that say?
Yeah.
Like that, you're hungry when you're willing to just go out there for a start and park team as a young, because you can totally screw over your career doing that rather than waiting for the choice ride.
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
And you did make the comment of him before that he had that sweet mullet. Was it the Michigan win that he had?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
he had the throwback mullet.
Well, and for a guy with a name like Sheldon, like what the hell? It kind of fits. That's all kind of a throwback name. And,
yep.
Last name, if he's listening to his namesake band, he's got that crank. You probably have a mullet.
Yep. So the other guy, like we said.
Well, we know we did forget you mentioned, Creed won. Moffitt. I thought Moffitt had the truck the majority of the race. I was pulling for him. I've been a fan of his for a while. The problem was
paint scheme. It's paint scheme. Yeah, the Jimmy Johnson paint scheme. And that doesn't do good this year or the last 3 years.
Yeah, ask Hendrick Motorsports when they shot the moon and they had 4 Jimmys out there. Yeah.
If you're going to use that paint scheme, you need a laptop.
Yeah, do the throwback paint scheme, get the throwback laptop to go along with it.
Find that laptop. Yeah. So I
heard it was part of the landfill outside turn 3 at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Because that is still walking distance from Hendrick Motorsports.
Yes, it is. Yep.
It's a jaunty walk, but you could do it. Just got a text from Tom. Kyan's not happy. YouTube went down.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully Kyan will see this at some point and YouTube's back up.
I guess it's just you and I then. So Zane Smith did come on at the end. I think he's someone you're going to have to watch.
Yeah.
For sure.
I'm just letting Tom know. He's asking if you're streaming. I'm like, Doug and I are live right now.
Yes, we are. And you are now part of the show.
And Doug says you're now part of the show.
So we were wrong on that prediction. So congrats to Sheldon Creed. I think he's going to probably have one more year in that series, I think.
Yeah.
And then go on. So,
well, there's no room at the end, really, at the next step up. Although, because I just say that because if it's not announced, there's no room at the end because those teams start up and fold like anything, especially when you look at, Gibbs could field one team one year or 3 cars or 4. Penske, same deal. 1 or 4, depending on the race or who they need to put into rides.
Yep.
So, but you won't get any backing from Ford to do it.
No. So on to the next one, which I thought was another, okay.
You know what it was? It was literally, they say it's that stepping stone series between trucks and Cup. The racing and the coverage was a stepping stone because all of a sudden the championship 4 were consistently in the top 8 to 10.
Yep.
Barring their own stupidity.
The one thing I noticed with the coverage though in the Xfinity race was Junior in the booth.
Nope. I don't think so.
I know he wasn't there for Texas because he was doing the Kyle Larson podcast. But and he was there for Martinsville, but I didn't hear him for that final race.
No. And you would think he'd be at the track having a driver in the hunt.
And you know what? Knowing the way kind of Junior is, as we've talked about before, he does step back. He may have made that choice that, my guy is going for it, so I'm gonna step away here. And
but you think they would have had him down in that, that I don't know what the mini Gitmo they got for Letard at times. They're kind of B studio.
Yeah.
But no.
Maybe he just said, "Hey, I don't want to be the cheerleader. I'm going to save that for Sunday."
And more on that later.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I was just thinking.
But
the thing is, like Jeff Burton at times can kind of sound like Junior. Not exactly the same accent, but similar cadence and pitch. Yeah. And all of a sudden I was like, I think at the same time, like, I haven't heard Junior speak in a while. No. Because he can also go quiet during a race. Because again, he'll step back, because especially if Jeff Burton and Steve Letarte are having a discussion on something, unless they go, "What do you think, Junior?" He's just watching the racing. Yeah. Probably rooting for some field filler type thing. And
so like you said, the top 4 there, Briscoe, Haley, Allgaier, and Cindric, they were kind of all around the top 8. Brandon Jones really kind of tried to get in there as well too.
Yeah.
But
somebody else was too. I know it running up in and around there.
Yeah.
Well, at the end we had the usual guy that has no business being up front decide he needs to be up front.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was on that last that caution that Briscoe put out, and then you got a bunch of guys that stay out, and it's like, why even get into this mess?
Yeah. Like you always talk about the classy move. The classy move would be if the leaders or the championship guys are pitting, you pit too, and let them go up front where they already were and hash it out.
Yep. So so late race caution there was Chase Briscoe going for the spin.
Yeah, that sucked.
Yeah, took him out.
You notice Tony Stewart was at the race bed up in the owner's box, which they referred to it as the owner's box instead of a luxury suite, which is a throwback because that's what I grew up at local Brighton Speedway. There is the series of boxes along the top. They were known as owner's boxes.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was kind of cool in many ways. And I'm like, hey, if anyone's going to do it, smoke.
Well, he's an owner and he was sitting up in a box. So it's kind of.
Yep.
Still
isolating up there.
Yep. So we were dead wrong on that prediction for that race as well, too.
Yeah. That's when the race weekend, really was taking a downturn for me because I had to hear all this praise and this and that. It's funny how things are spun a certain way for certain like this kid took it upon himself to travel around the world to learn the craft of racing. And I'm hearing, Daddy paid for me to travel around the world to get tutored in racing.
Yep.
Because
exactly.
Do you recall Tim Cindric in any developmental series?
Awesome.
We would have heard about it. He's running Formula Japan. He's running UK supercar, whatever it is. No, nothing.
Yeah.
So spin, 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 spin.
Yep.
Fake news.
So then that will then lead us to Sunday, which
the throwback race where we threw back to like 2005 when you could special order your ISO cam.
I was unsure whether to bring a pillow for this segment because it took me 4 times to watch this race because I kept falling asleep. But yeah, the weekend started off Sunday morning. Chase failing inspection twice, and then having to go to the back for the start. So then that's kind of all we heard about on the Sunday morning.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think that coverage just didn't stop.
Oh, and for a primarily NASCAR-based podcast, just to let you know, I got breaking news. YouTube is 100% down in the U.S.
Okay, so it's just any Canadian viewers.
So this is the 50s edition.
Yeah. We truly are the NasCanucks edition this time. Yeah, so
where do I have a Dodge I can show off?
But like the coverage started there with Chase, and then it just didn't stop.
Yeah.
Like I'd even kind of sent a tweet out there with, I've always liked Rutledge Wood right since when he won that competition with Fox Sports back in 2007.
Do you know what really hit it home for me with Rutledge Wood was one of the first years, might have been the first year that we were camping in the infield at Charlotte. And that's when they were shooting the pilot episode of Top Gear America, where they had a brand new, possibly a Dodge Challenger or something to that effect. Let's say some new Detroit-based automobile with lots of horsepower. And they puked the transmission right on pit road doing a burnout. And I don't think that car was out on the market yet because they could only wheel it off, and it never came back after that. Mm-hmm. They couldn't repair it or anything like that. And I remember rumor going around that it was like, it might have been even a Hellcat before they're out or something.
Yeah.
Which ironically enough was Canadian made.
Yeah. So then the race starts off and they're all still talking about Mr. Elliott, and then they cut to the Dawsonville pool hall.
Mm-hmm.
Because apparently the Dawsonville pool hall was the only place any of the top 4 drivers that somebody was getting together, because apparently Joe Gibbs Racing did not have any of or Denny Hamlin did not have any of his family or friends hanging out together. Nothing like that happened in Michigan for Brad Keselowski.
No, not at all, because he doesn't come from a racing family either.
No, or Joey Logano. There was nothing in Connecticut. Nobody got together in Connecticut to watch the race and
let alone possibly a Penske Racing, north or south, possibly because the Penske's team drivers have never been known to follow each other's things. Like we've never seen a cutaway during an IndyCar pre-race where they're watching Xfinity or Cup, or vice versa, the Cup guys watching the IndyCar stuff.
Yeah. So it's kind of, and then it kind of, not to rant, because we crap on the kid a lot, and he was the most dominant car out there.
Yeah.
Right. But it's just
the car that failed pre-race inspection not once, but twice.
Which I find the other thing I find funny is no matter what other car it is, a JGR car, a Penske car, if they fail post-race twice, you'll see all the Hendrick Motorsports fans on Twitter saying they need to send that car home, because if they fail twice, they should be gone. But then this weekend, it was like, oh, no, he's fine to race. He's fine to race. So it's whatever. But it just felt like there was only one driver that was actually in that race.
Yeah. And considering what I thought was a little hinky, should have been a storyline. This is the first time ever we've come down to the final 4 since the chase started, let alone the playoffs and any of that, because it always came down to 4 drivers for the last race. that we had the 4 drivers run in the top 4 or 5 basically the entire race, barring green flag pit stops, of course.
Yeah, like there was there was hardly any other people in the top 4, and
yeah, like I don't even know. Like,
and Chase for starting off in the back, he came to the front very, very quickly.
Yeah, like they got the ticker down there for your top 10, top 20, and then they always keep a little on the bottom for your 4 Chase guys, and then usually up until today, it's the top or 2 guys that are above the cut line, 2 below, and then today it was the top 4. Well, if you got the top 10 up the whole race, and then down below it's 1 through 4 as well, what's the point of even having that?
Yeah.
They could have sold that sponsor space.
And unlike watching the truck race, like we said, their top 10 were within, I'm going to say, 3 to 4 seconds for most of the time.
And, I'd like to see them award bonus points for the stage wins or get rid of the stages. If you're going to have the stupid stages for the last race, you better reward them, because all I saw was competition cautions. They serve no reason.
I think they're still getting points for that because the other guys that are driving are getting points.
Okay.
They don't have the bonus point because that's not going to matter because there's no other thing to go on to.
Right.
You're still getting they're still running those 10 points. You're just not getting the bonus point for the stage.
You should be able, if you win the first 2 stages, you should be able to bank 20 points towards your final tally.
Yeah, possibly.
If they're going to have the stupidity of it, that's what I say. You got to go all in. You can't just, it was an all-star race. Like that race. That's why I'm already ready for Daytona, because that was a job.
You know what? I'll be honest with you. I was thinking while watching that race, I was like, you know what? It would almost be better to do like you said and just go back to the old style if they're the final 10, let them race. Maybe even have like 8 cars in the final race instead of just a 4.
Yeah, or if it's going to be a 10 race playoffs, halfway through, take it from 20 down to 10.
Yeah, and and because it's all they were talking about was those 4 guys at times, mostly one guy, and there was even people I heard call in when they could get through without people giving praise to the one guy. That like they were saying, like, I'm not sure if my driver was actually driving because his name wasn't said once during the whole race.
There we go. And apparently it's not us that we have no live viewers. I did get confirmation from YouTube's official Twitter account that YouTube is down globally.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So there we are.
Our normal no viewers.
It's like you say, it doesn't faze us.
You're all good.
Yeah. Yeah, like really, we're still getting the same amount of comments. I'm just getting them in text message form, and that's from someone not even watching the show.
Yeah. So there's that. So congrats to Chase Elliott on his first win. He got to even drive the car down the main drag in Dawsonville there yesterday.
That's cool. Yeah, I don't know. I just hope it's his only one.
Yeah. I'm gonna say that I did have a sinking feeling, a very bad feeling, when we went off air last week, because you know how I am with my numbers and stuff that's happened before will repeat itself.
Yeah.
The last time the Lakers and the Los Angeles Dodgers won championships in their seasons, the 9 car in Bill Elliott won the NASCAR championship. That was the last time the 9 car won a championship.
Dang it.
This year, the Lakers won the NBA. The Dodgers won the World Series. So I was like, oh, shit. It's going to be
Yeah.
But so
yeah.
So now we just, now you're going to put up with 3 months of us just talking silly season crap, and hopefully we'll have some guests on.
Well, that, and I have a bunch of things planned. I'd like to talk about, we can do some more deep dive into like tracks that are no longer with us.
Where is the laptop?
Well, there is that too. We will have that.
We will go on an extensive search for the laptop.
There's that. We will be previewing the upcoming season. Of course, any news that happens. featuring some. We can talk about some drivers from over the years, definitely, which we can throw into showing off some, the collectible merchandising type situations, and we can continue our observations and such from a Canadian perspective, which is always skewed towards the Canadians, because why not?
Yeah, why not? So there was some silly season news came out this week, which hasn't been fully denied, we'll say. We know we'd heard from some people that that Tony Stewart was going around a lot with Kyle Larson.
They were chumming it up a lot this year.
And yeah, it was, Kyle was running Tony's series, which is okay.
Yeah, sure.
But now it's come out that Tony pushed Ford Motor Company very hard to put Larson in the 14. Ford said
no. Let's be honest. Yeah, exactly. Ford said no, and let's be honest, Kyle Larson is hands down the number one free agent on the market.
Yeah. But yeah, Ford said no, they wanted no part of him with all the stuff that went on. So, I'd like to see what's going to happen with Kyle then if he does stay clean, keeps out of the crap. What's going to happen when his contract is up at Hendrick? Because for as much as Hendrick says, oh yeah, we're going to let him run his stuff when he can, because we've only got the 1-day shows. What if when we come out of this COVID stuff and
then obviously you got all the media appearances and blah blah blah,
and then his dirt race has to take a nosedive, and then he's told, yeah, no, you're not doing that, as Casey Kane was. What's going to happen then? Because that within a couple of years, that 4-car is going to be open.
Yep. And we already saw again Hendrick how he treated Kane. Some dirty billiards, basically saying he's forced to retire because he's no longer able to drive a race car, which has me thinking Rick Mast, stuff like that, like career-ending injury or whatever.
But then the next week, he's driving a sprint car.
Yeah.
For his own racing, because I forget how they said it was easier for him because he could get more air intake. He wasn't getting overheated as much in a sprint car as he was in a stock car. Okay.
Sure.
But
yeah, sure. A sprint car technically is cooler because you are open, but with the cooling suits and the cooling helmets and
there was just,
And if that was really the case, then why was he just as competitive at night as during the day?
Yeah. So,
which was not very.
So we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
I hope it's a train wreck. I wish him nothing but that.
Yeah. Still nothing on the Ty.
Speaking of upcoming stuff throughout the offseason, I'll be doing a weekly segment of Where's Ty Dillon?
Yeah, where's Ty Dillon?
Where in NASCAR is Ty Dillon?
There was another car that I was just thinking of that he could have been tied to, but now that's just totally just gone.
That happens.
But yeah, there's that. Other news, Truck Series owner, driver, Josh Rayom, suspended by NASCAR indefinitely this week.
As he should be.
For what I can't remember what they did for Larson for what they called suspension.
Was that the usual? Was it Rule 11B action detrimental to?
Yeah, but it did go a little farther. He put something out on his Snapchat or Instagram. I just forget now. But I had first seen it on Twitter. Some people were talking about it. Everyone was saying it was unsubstantiated, that it was NASCAR just being over whatever.
Because we know that base likes to jump all over NASCAR when anything is race related.
Josh Rayom put out a statement that it was a taken out of context. It was a picture of his late evening snack taken out of context.
Was that a toaster strudel by any chance as a late night snack?
I then did see the picture that someone did.
Did he make a nice design on the strudel? Because I like to make a design on the strudel.
Somebody did capture the picture before it was taken down after he got suspended. Apparently, with
signs,
apparently his late night strudels, he likes to draw swastikas on them, take pictures of them, and put it on Snapchat, Instagram, and it's just taken out of context. I think if you're following along at all with what's going on in your sport, that's the last thing you're going to do is to put a swastika on your toaster strudel and then think it's a good idea to put it out there in social media.
All right. I'm just going to be that guy. There is a sponsorship opportunity in this. He could probably land the previous sponsor that was on the 32 Cup car.
He could.
I'm not going to say who the sponsor is.
Some of his backers on Twitter, though, did come to Mr. Riom's defense in saying that, the swastika is actually a Hindu religious symbol.
Right. And I'm sorry, with a name like Riom, he ain't Hindu.
I don't think he's Hindu. So, yeah, I think we haven't heard the last of this year. I think there might be some
is this going to be another one? Well, I was planning on retiring anyways.
Yeah. But
we already had one of those.
Maybe he can be Ray Ciccarelli, Cicerelli, whatever the hell you want to say his name is.
Yeah.
You can be with that there. So,
yeah, maybe they can merge the two teams and start and park together because they were pretty much about the same competitiveness. Like, I remember because I would see him running like second last, and I would just assume with a name like Riom, I'm like, Canadian? Because you figure, because we have, as Canadians, we have a long history of wrenching on vehicles way up here in the hinterlands, and then we take them days of travel down south, and then we're not competitive most of the time. It's better to buy your gear down there.
Yeah. So there's that. Trying to think something else. Try to remember. Question. I said I was going to bring this question up to you.
Question, yes.
Question that was posed to Dave Moody actually on my way over here for this show tonight.
All right. I'm always up for a good Moody question.
Question now was put to Dave Moody. I want to see if you have the same reaction as he did. So next year we're going to Bristol.
Okay, yeah.
I've got tickets to go to Bristol. This is not me talking. This was a caller into Dave Moody. I got tickets to Bristol next year. With the dirt race. If it rains, will they run in the rain?
No.
Yeah, that's about the same reaction. Moody said he would love to see, though, when they bring out the jet dryers and all the Toyota stuff, just how covered the fans could get when they're drying off in mud with the jet dryers.
Yeah. At least with the design of Bristol, well, then again,
you're getting mudslides.
With that kind of, depending on how kind of banking they do, because let's be honest, when they last time they laid down dirt, well, the first time they pussied out, like it was almost flat, and that was a joke. Like basically, just filled it up to the top of the pit lane wall. That was garbage, and then they gave it a little more. But you want like slinger, like you want wall o' dirt.
Actually, Moody did ask the guy if he'd ever been to a dirt track, or if he does watch dirt racing at all. And the guy gave an answer as if he tried to say yes, but he was no.
It's the moisture content of a dirt track is a very exact science. As funny as you think back in the day we just carve out a track in a field and run. Well, that's fine as long as it's a fresh carve on good packed down soil because of the moisture content. Too dry, it's a dust bowl. Can't see anything. It basically becomes as hard as asphalt or breaks up. Not good. Too wet, it's soup. It's single lane. It's like running a road course in the rain.
Yep.
Except there is no alternate lane. There is no cushion. And that's the thing. The racing line moves during the race. You do have a cushion. Some drivers hate the cushion. Some setups rely on that cushion, which is basically, think about driving around town when you're playing your right rear tire up on the curb all the way around town.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was was kind of.
That's yeah. Well, that's okay. I remember. Well, the opposite thing. We took a gearhead up to Kawartha, and for those who don't know, Kawartha Speedway, they have a 1 mile, damn near, 3/4 mile horse track.
It's
and then around the inside of the horse track, they built a short track, sort of an opposite of a Dover.
Opposite of Dover, yes.
Yeah, opposite of Dover. And so we were up there for the races, stock car races, that is. And I always thought, since it's a horse track there, why couldn't we bet on the auto races? Because, it's all right there.
Hey,
but
we got a Canadian viewer.
Hey, Terry.
It is back for you because, no, you said globally. So unless Terry's out of this world, he's the only YouTube watcher that there is right now.
He is the audience.
He is the audience.
Where was I going? Damn it.
The Kawartha horse track.
So we got the gearhead out with us. We're watching some races, and we decided to go on inside to hit the snack bar because they had the licensed snack bar inside, which was great. Advantage of having the horse track there. And he looked at the horse track and he says, "So how many laps do the horses do?" Yeah. It's like, they do a 50 lapper every Friday. Come on.
Yeah. But, so I thought that was kind of an amusing question. Because Moody even said, at an asphalt track, it can rain at 7 o'clock. And you could, if it rained for a little bit, whatever, depending on the rain, you could be racing by like 9. Dirt track, if it rains at 1, you've got a shot at 7 o'clock. If it rains at 7 o'clock, you're coming back tomorrow.
I've seen where if it's raining, let's say 10 a.m. through 2 p.m., like not even hard rain, but a good 4-hour rain on race day, even at 2 p.m., it's too late. You've lost it. Unless it's a nice hot day and, sun comes out and just, like we've seen at Charlotte where it's happening. And you can see the moisture just coming out of the track. And you know what they need to do there? They need to put up some more windbreak, some billboard. Well, you wouldn't be able to see them necessarily, but they need where the grandstands are. If they could fill it in a little more somehow to break the wind on the track, because it's so windy there.
Are you talking about the turns 3 and 4 end?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Because I'm thinking there's like a shitload of billboards on the one end.
Well, yeah, that swirls it around to dry out 1 and 2. They need to get rid of those, move them to the other end.
Yeah, but then you'd block the view of the Z-Max driveway.
Is it all off 3 and 4? I thought it was off 1 and 2. I don't know. No, see, I get twisted. That's a weird little intersection there.
Has it been that long since you've been there?
Well, come on. Have I ever arrived at or left the dirt track with any form of sobriety?
Remember, our tickets were at the start-finish line. Which way did the cars run?
And that I know.
There's your answer.
Yeah, we usually, we've gone different ways, whether we've walked over or we usually started getting a ride, and sometimes we get a ride right to the track. Sometimes we only get a ride to the outskirts of the track. So damn near made it into the pits one year. That was nice. So the various different way, like where TJ, when we picked up the ribs, he was kind of over by the dirt track area there that one year, wasn't it?
He was by the pit area of the dirt track, yes.
Yeah. I was like, how did we get here? Because it's all confusing to me. And
one of the road in that back.
Yeah, the alternate tunnel outside the Speedway tunnel, which is only used for like ice people and hardcore track people that know their way around, like Mike.
Yep. But
yeah. Okay, fine. Terry, laugh away. Fine.
I'm trying to think if there was anything else.
I don't know. I watched one of the ARCA series. I don't know. I think they're running 14 different classes in ARCA now. And apparently it was race 2 from Phoenix. They didn't bother broadcasting race 1 or mention it in any way, shape, or form. So I don't know if it was a race 2. And they're talking about seasons I wasn't aware of, short tracks and road courses. And it was all very confusing. But Zane Smith was running in that. It was interesting enough. And does he have a brother that runs that series? Chad Smith? No, that's the drummer. Chad? I think it starts with a C or maybe a D. Well, he won the race. Some guy, I believe, also named Smith. And the 46 car was in the race there. Tad Moffitt. Is that his name? Tad?
Thad. T-H-A-D. Thad Moffitt.
Who names their kid that? Come on. Chad. Yes, I get. Thaddeus? Really?
Richard Petty's daughter.
Yeah, I know. But Thaddeus? Is that really what you name your kid in the 21st century? Kind of? No, you don't. But anyway, he took a hard lick. And it was kind of neat that Matt Crafton was in the booth calling the race. Anyway, that was a hard hit. And they're like, well, he blew his left front and had no steering or brakes, hit it, and it didn't look that bad. He goes, no, I did the exact, I blew a left front, hit that exact same spot. And he's like, because it's right in a weird little angle, and he's like, oh, he's going to be hurting. Oh, someone's collecting the 2020 NASCAR trading cards.
Well, maybe I'm asking into that. Yeah, so come to think, one more thing here about what's in the news for coming up next week. Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Oh, yeah, right. I was like,
Monday,
are we previewing next week's show already? Because we don't usually know what we're going to talk about before we go live.
Yeah. Monday they are testing the Roval.
The new Gen car that due out in 2022.
Yep. So they're testing that car on the Roval Monday, Oval Tuesday.
Right. I thought I heard like 5 days of testing total.
Yeah, I don't know. These cars are ones that they used earlier this year at Dover and Auto Club.
Right.
So they are just
and we now have 2 cars being tested, one built by NASCAR, one built by IMSA's tech.
Yeah, Action Express. Yeah. So they're just generic motors in them. NASCAR's built the motors, and doing the testing will be Kurt Busch and Martin Truex Jr. will be the 2 drivers doing the test at Charlotte next week.
A couple of veteran drivers that have won on a variety of circuits. Good call. I have no issue with that in any way.
People are trying to figure out how to if NASCAR would be showing the test at all online. Some people asked if they'd be able to attend. Yeah, probably not.
No.
So then the other thing I'd seen put out there was people were saying, well, we should all go and just rent condos at Charlotte Motor Speedway and be able to watch the testing that way. That's
slick. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Interesting. Yeah. It's funny you mentioned that because that reminds me of, I don't know if you remember, I think it was in the 80s, NASCAR LR series that they were trying to develop. And NASCAR had built a car or had a car built. I think it was Hendrick that built the car. And Dale Earnhardt, maybe it was Childress that built it for NASCAR. Because it looked like a Busch car, but they chopped down the rear end a bunch. Because the idea is they wanted to go street racing as well as road racing. So it was supposed to be lightweight and it handled like a tank. And then Bobby Allison built one as well. Because, Bobby Allison built anything. And his shop was right outside turn 2 anyways. So why not? Yeah, those built, over where Alan Quickie's shop was.
Okay, that way. Okay, over by where Now people are going to want the tour of Charlotte and a podcast. Is that where you saying where Waltrip's shop was and where?
No, because that's over off Moorhead. When we turn off Moorhead to come down along the back of the speedway, where you turn in when we go to register and everything, you got the dump on one side, but we pass those buildings on the right-hand side.
Okay. Where the Richard Petty driving experience and Jeff Gordon stuff is now.
Yes. Well, all that, was it the 95 team, I think, is over there or was over there when we've attended race. Like, there was still an active cup team over there, but it was a small cup team. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Bobby Allison's shop was over there. That's where Kawicki's shop was. All those, I don't know exactly which ones, but it was one of those times riding around with Mike and he's like, and you're like, what? Huh? Because you're thinking sense the history, but to him, it's just
actually pass them as you're going the back way from the speedway up
towards those campsites.
To where I actually, before you came down with me, where I used to camp up in Moorhead Campground up by the Catfish Pond.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So if you want to get out your Google Maps, and you're looking up the Charlotte Motor Speedway,
look for the pond down Moorhead Road. Yeah. Yeah.
So there we are on that. I don't know why. Oh yeah, but they were out there, and ironically enough, they're using the Charlotte Roval for testing those cars, which was kind of neat. And it was that similar configuration. It was quite interesting to see, and they got the cars down to like 2,600 pounds. I think they were using, and that's something else. The Xfinity series, like I was harping on it the last couple of weeks. The cars are getting too close to the Cup cars. I've been watching some old Busch racing. Those V6s, they got a sound to them that I missed, because it sounds like a bunch of angry hornets out there. And, it's amazing, as much as they say the Cup Series has grown, but when I'm watching the Busch race from Bristol in 1990, so 30 years ago, the lack of grandstands at Bristol, because it was only on the straights at that time, but the amount of 2-axle open trailers with the tire rack across the front, the ones you see going to your local dirt tracks to this day. And even then, a lot of those guys have covered trailers now. Yeah. But guys were using those for the Busch cars in 1990. Because you think, what is it, a couple hours haul from Charlotte, Mooresville up to Bristol?
Yeah.
And I was just like, damn. And they had like 70 cars show up. Yeah. We need to get back to that somewhat.
Yeah, so
do we have much else?
I don't think so. I'm trying to.
I'm holding up physically at the moment.
I'm trying to.
Our viewer doesn't need to know the details, but
I'm flicking through Twitter to see if there's anything else that we can talk about. And
cool. What does our viewer think of Doug's new set?
This could be one night only. We're staying here. I'm only here because there was no one else that was here. Because otherwise, you'd be hearing cornhole bags thumping on boards and it'd just be really pain in the ass. But yeah, the only other thing I can see is that,
I just let Tom know that YouTube's back up, so we might have a second viewer. Double our audience.
Yeah, the only other NASCAR thing I can see here is Marcus Smith's wife is showing off that they've got new light switches in their house.
Oh, so isn't that wonderful?
It's that type of NASCAR day.
Well, that means next time we're in Charlotte, I'll have to grab Marcus by the love handle again just to congratulate him.
Yeah. Yeah, early.
That was awkward.
Yep, that's about it.
I'm waiting for Doug to pick up a car and go broom, broom.
Not this time.
No, we need more performance-enhancing beverages before that.
Yep.
That's when it's like hour 3, just sitting there, just not even listening to the conversation.
Yep. Start. Oh, look at the engine. Look at the engine in there. Yeah.
All right. One last thing before we go. I'm just going to throw it out there for a couple of minutes just to fill. Will Canada ever build an oval capable of holding any of the top 3 series?
I've been waiting.
That would have to be I'm going to say At least a 5/8, if not a 3/4 mile track. It has to be more than a complete short track. It's going to have to be at least 3/4 of a mile.
What went on with that one in Fort Erie with Jeff Gordon?
All the paperwork for it is on Chad Knos's laptop.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, because I don't think you could. You're not going to build a super speedway, right? Those are done.
I'm still saying that
you're not going to build a 1.5 mile cookie cutter. So anything over a mile, you're going to get what? Pinties.
Yeah, I'm still saying
even then, those cars can't really handle a mile too well. Like what are you going to build? Another New Hampshire? You want something somewhat high banked. Although you might want to make something that Indy cars could run on as well.
I am just thinking that I don't think we're going to see any of the top 2 series that we see, or anything outside of anything at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. Is what I'm saying.
Okay, unless something new is built, probably.
Because I'm thinking we still.
Hey, Bent Tom.
Although our policies on alcohol have opened up a bit,
yeah,
you still can't bring your own into the race,
right?
Which I think will kill any fan attendance,
especially across border.
Yeah, and even that's because people up here are going to try and get that whole experience that they have in the States. Right. Up here, they're not going to get it. Same thing they try with the Buffalo Bills up here in Toronto. Hey, it's going to be the same. We're going to have tailgating. Yeah, no, you didn't. You didn't have the same tailgating.
No,
right? So unless you're at Canadian Tire, where people can camp out and then they can drink.
Well, it wasn't the tailgating for the Bills games. It was essentially off-site because there is no parking for the Rogers Center. Oh, underground.
Yeah. Yeah. And
yeah, that's safe. What, are you going to fire up the bocce in the underground parking garage?
Yeah. So I can't see. I can, sure, hey, build a track, fill your boots. I just don't think the 2 cups, the Cup and Xfinity, are not going to come here. You may get the Xfinity, and I've even heard people say that they want to see the Cup at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, which
it's not a great track for cars,
but
it's not wide enough.
The other thing is like someone even said to Moody again today that that he was wondering why they took the race away from Kentucky. Well, Bruton Smith wanted to give another one to Vegas again, and they've got big plans for Atlanta, so they had to take a race from somewhere. Right. Kentucky wasn't selling out. Kentucky's the one that they're going to move, right? So,
can we reconfigure Atlanta back to just a regular oval, please?
I don't know. They've got. I don't know. I'm hearing that the repave could be coming there soon. So,
as much as I hate it, I get it because that track is all corner.
Yeah. Well, it's the cookie cutter D-shaped tri-oval, right? And
quad oval.
Well, yeah, and we're gonna see Auto Club after next year's race. We're gonna see that go to the smaller configuration, the half mile.
Yeah.
Right. So.
That makes sense if there was like the grassroots racing, like there is and there isn't. Like we know there's a handful of California tracks. Anyone that's followed Winston West or K&M West and stuff, and they got like Compton Speedway. What the hell is there like a 1/4 mile track in Compton? It seems odd.
I just think there's so many people that complained about cookie cutter tracks.
Yep.
That they are going to start going to all the smaller tracks, trying to continue to back to smaller tracks or road courses, and then all of a sudden you're going to see it, you're going to hear it a couple years down the line, and putting it on here now, people are going to say, okay, enough with the road courses and short tracks. We want the big tracks back, and
when will they build a third restrictor plate track? Which they really should.
That is the issue with NASCAR fans, is that they are never, ever happy with what goes on.
Yeah.
We need to make changes. We need to make changes. oh, I didn't want those changes. I wanted other changes.
Everybody wants their own changes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Like, and that was, one thing I remember us tossed about again on top was building like a Talladega in Canada, because you're almost in a way guaranteed to race, because those restrictor plate cars that they put so much time and effort into, all of a sudden they're available for that 5th race. So financially it makes sense. Same way as going the route of a road course, but you need to have more of a Watkins Glen type, like a high speed, wide surface. And yeah, most sports never had that.
No.
Like having, a family member, my uncle raced there on motorcycles, for those who don't know. And he said he's been out there on a car and he goes, this track's too narrow for a car. And he's driving around there in a Porsche. Yeah. If it's too narrow for a Porsche, stock car is bigger.
Yep.
So yeah, that's something to think about, folks. Oh, wow. We got a third person watching. Hello. Welcome.
Hello.
Yeah, other than that, I guess we don't have anything to look forward to this weekend, other than, I guess,
now we have viewers. Should we just start over again?
No. I don't know if I could do that biologically.
Okay, then.
Yeah. Well, do we take... Yeah, we might as well take it to the top of the hour. 3.5 minutes. Hey, Jeremy Smith. He says NASCAR needs to bring the Xfinity Series to Crappy Tire Motorsports Park.
See, he's about 2 minutes too late. See, the new microphone, I can do that now.
This is true. Yeah, because I can't think of... Yeah. The problem is the population base. Where we got the big cities, they're not into the stock cars.
No, not at all.
Like, you almost have to build it around London. That's the one thing about Cayuga, because you can pull in the Detroit, and southwestern Ontario has always been a hotbed for racing.
Yeah.
Maybe your neck of the woods, actually. Because you're still
actually, speaking of luxury boxes, owner suites, I did see that Oswego Speedway is putting in luxury boxes.
Sweet.
By the in their pit area, in the pit area grandstand.
Oh, wow. Okay, I wonder where they're getting all that money to do that. Okay.
I wonder.
Yeah. So, and I should say my theory. If you're gonna build
smokes out front.
If you're going to build a track in Canada, think 7/8 of a mile. Both ends are different. High bank, low bank combo is always good. That way, the low bank's going to slow the cars down.
So what you're saying is that they should pave the horse track at Kawartha.
Yes, and bank it more on one end than the other.
Yes.
It's great. There's a casino on site. Hey, we got booze, we got gambling.
It's a Canadian Dover.
It's the Canadian Dover, the Dover of the North.
Yeah.
Hey, Eddie Van Haskell.
Wow.
I know. I'm shocked too. See, this is what happens when you're about to wrap up and YouTube's broke for the majority of the show.
And you're funny and hard to sit.
A little bit. Not quite a turtle back there. I'm not touching cloth.
Anyone got a bucket out there?
Please.
Yes.
Laughing helps. Yeah, that really helps. Good old belly laugh. Ooh. Yeah.
Okay.
On that note,
yes, Dover, Delaware. Yes, they have a track at the horse at the.
Yeah, thanks for the hashtag, Tom.
Okay.
I got nothing after that.
Hey, is it?
Early projections. I can project.
Not the 9.
You know what? I'll go as far as I'll predict a winner of the first race of next season, which is what the hell they call it? Is it Back to the Bush Clash? I think it is, which is going to be on the road course.
Yes, it's going to be on the road course.
And that features pole winners.
They're doing something different for it next year.
Damn it, I can't even call that one.
I will, but I'd have to plug my nose while doing it because he's won the last 4 or 5.
Yeah.
But
we're the 22, sadly.
Or you know what? Truex ran good on that track.
Yeah.
And the guy that held him up will no longer be racing.
This is true.
What?
Yep. Are we going to see Honda enter the Cup Series in 2022?
I'm going to say yes. Because you and I, we talked about that. There was something we'd seen. You showed me something online.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of which, yeah. Does that mean also, are they going to run just Cup? I doubt it. So does that mean possibly even next year we could see an Xfinity car, perhaps?
I don't know. I did see someone when they were talking about the new manufacturers coming in. Someone had said, "Will Cadillac be coming in?" I don't think so.
No. Cadillac's been doing fine with their GT program. They're fine with that.
I think it's going to either be Honda or Dodge.
I don't know how much money Dodge has right now. Speaking of which, actually, I know it's going to be Honda. You know why? Do you know what a current cost is on a Formula One motor?
A lot more than what I have in my pocket.
Approximately $60 million for a Formula One motor. There's your Cup program from one F1 engine. So I'm thinking by shutting down their Formula One program, that frees up $1 billion or so.
And to answer Jeremy, I think they're going to give him at least a couple races next year.
Boo.
I think so because listening to Martin, he's still happy with him, because it's, as I said last week, I did send in my resume that I can
well, it's not like the rest of the Gibbs cars are exactly on fire at the moment.
No. So, and I think the Gibbs cars really, it's that practicing. I think all those Gibbs guys need to practice stuff. And it's, hate to use the term, it is what it is, but it's kind of is what it is, right? Yeah. But I think they're going to give him a few races just to kind of see, because it was.
Yeah, they've cut so much. It used to be, man, those race weeks, they were race weeks. Like between
next year, they're going to be all but a couple of weeks are going to be 1-day shows next year again.
Yeah, it really makes the value of a race ticket not so valuable. Type that, like for the campers. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
I
see that could be us. If it's just 1-day race weeks, I cannot see us
doing 2 weeks down there,
or even hitting one race down there, right? Because
it's not worth it.
No,
and especially because you're going to only get 2 races on Memorial Day weekend,
if that.
Yeah.
If that.
Well, 3 including the dirt track. But you're not going to get ARCA. You're not getting trucks because they'll run the All-Star weekend.
Speaking of the dirt track, in this overtime here, we will congratulate Brad Sweet on another championship. Speaking of Casey Kane Racing.
Nice.
Another race he won they canceled the World Finals. And then a couple days later, they, like we said last week, they had the last call races because that was, I guess, different than the World Finals. But yeah, Brad Sweet.
The same people competing, but not the same.
Yeah. I'm hearing that with Kyle Larson dropping his sprint car team, his World of Outlaws team, and Darren Pittman retiring, leaving Jason Johnson Racing. Carson Macedo, who drove for Kyle Larson, great rookie, got his first win this year. He will be going over to the 41 in Jason Johnson Racing.
Okay, cool. To answer that, Tom, actually for Formula One spec for next year, my understanding is teams are down to allowed 3 motors for the entire race season. And if it blows up, you will have not only a financial penalty because you got to replace the motor, but also a financial penalty from Formula One, as well as probably position and or points penalties accordingly. It's one of the reasons I gave up on Formula One. It's just whatever. Anywho's, I think we should wrap it up. It's been over an hour. I got some stuff to do.
Let's pinch this one off. And
exactly. So until next time, I'm Ben. He's Doug. Thanks for watching NasCanucks. Watch the replay. We talked about the actual races up at the beginning, but nobody was watching.
Kind of did.
Yeah, there you are. So keep it high, wide, and handsome, and don't blow that $60 million